For all the criticism of social media, sometimes it actually does some good. Sometimes it can even save lives. Jill Valley with the story of how Facebook and faith are giving a Western Montana man the gift of a lifetime.
Sovereign Valentine is a personal trainer in the small town of Plains. 3 times a week he drives here to Missoula for dialysis. His inherited kidney disease has done in his kidneys, although at first he didn't even know how sick he actually was.
I've been a personal trainer for 30 years and did my nutrition really well all this time for 40 or so years, So it sort of offset the symptoms in a sense, and I didn't know that I was in complete kidney failure.
Just like his older sister who had the same genetic condition, he needed a kidney transplant, so he decided to advertise for one on his car and on Facebook, where he posted this simple message: "Kidney donor wanted." And man, did that work.
The response blew me away. Ultimately, we got about 106 donors. About 95 of those were from Facebook. The rest of them were from the car magnets. It totally changed my perspective on life.
The willingness for people to step up likely saved Sov's life, because finding a donor isn't easy. According to the website organdonor.gov, more than 3,000 new patients are added to the kidney waiting list every month. 13 people die every day while waiting for a life-saving kidney transplant. And every 14 minutes, somebody is added to the kidney transplant list. So Sovereign is in the small town of Plains. He got more than 100 responses from around the country of people willing to see if they could be his living donor. But what Sovereign did not know was there was a woman, somebody he'd never met before, who was going through the process herself to see if she could be his living donor. But where in the world was this woman? As it turns out, right here in Plains, Montana.
We're all given a path in life, and this has always been part of my path. It's just time for it now.
Krista Standiford and her husband are pastors of Church on the Move in Plains. She'd never met Sovereign, but when she heard his story, something in her clicked.
And not just as a pastor in the community, but as an advocate, as a human in the town of Plains, I think that we should all do something to help somebody.
So after many, many medical tests, it turns out Krista was a match.
My value system says that it's not just an organ, but it's a piece of me. You get my cells, you get my whatever is attached to that. Need to make sure that that's something that works for him. There's a sense of gratitude that I have and that my family has because it gets to be us.
So this nationwide search for a donor ended up in Sovereign's own backyard. And it seems it was always meant to be.
This sounds crazy, but it's like we're twins almost. Like we were separated at birth. We have so much in common: interests, values, beliefs.
It felt so much better to know that we would be able to be a part and understand the person and the people that we were kind of doing this thing with. It's not for, it's with. We're kind of all in this together.
In Missoula, Jill Valley, MTN News.
Sov and Krista head to Seattle in about 3 weeks for the transplant. Sov will soon publish a book on Amazon that helps people find a living organ donor through social media.